We are at Mayanot, Jerusalem location on David Yellin Street. And,
Yep.
we were blessed here with
Velvel.
Mr. Velvel, who has created a composting system and a garden on the rooftop. And he'll be kind enough to show us and share with us how he's been able to upkeep that and how he's been able to create this here at Mayanot.
Let's do it. Let's check it out. So we got to come over here. This is pretty much all recycled materials and pretty much zero budget. We got some funding from the yeshiva, some other things, but yeah. This is,
Wonderful.
So, we've got a couple things here. This is kind of like zone one. This is the immediate surrounding. We've got up here a worm composting bin. So any scraps from the garden or from the kitchen, you can put up here. If you look here, there's a lot of, there's a good amount of worms here. Probably a couple, at least 100 in this bin.
Oh, I see one.
Yeah, you see? Look, even just in this one scoop, you have maybe 4 or 5. One less there. Anyways, you come here. We have a couple, this is to keep my tools in here. Anything that shouldn't get wet or too hot.
Why a warm compost? What's another way of?
Well, I'll show you the other way. Over here. The warm compost is advantageous because it's very quick. The worms break down things very quickly. You can't do it in high capacity unless you have a lot of worms. The other thing is when we pour water over it, the kind of water that drips through the system and drips down to the bottom makes a very good soil building thing. It adds bacteria to the soil. It's very useful. It's very dynamic. So the other composter is over there. I'll show you in a minute. But here, for an example, this plastic was not left next to the dumpster down on the street, and we used it to make a micro greenhouse. You see, it's got clips here, and we're growing basil in the front, some lettuce in the back, and you can see here this is drip irrigation, which we're using less now in the winter, the rainy season. But you'll see around the whole thing. You see, just turn it on, it just drips here. Set up with a computer, it drips 15 minutes every day, or whatever setting you put it on.
50 minutes.
And that gives it everything. It's very precise, so we don't need more than that. Different
Drip
system.
system.
Flowers.
Drip irrigation.
This area I'm kind of redoing over here. We just took out the element that was right here and are replacing it. Here we already have a hot pepper bush, some serranos, a strawberry bush if you want to see here. But these buckets, you'll see more around. It's a wicking system. So the way it works, it's very good for the summer here when it's very hot and dry and plants need water, right? You lift it from the bottom. See here?
Okay.
This bottle has slits in the side of it, and the soil goes from the top of the bucket all the way down into that bottle. It's basically, think of like an upside down top hat nesting in a hole in the bottom of the top bucket. Now it goes, what you saw, the plug goes all the way to the bottom. There's 2 buckets. This bottom, if you look inside, you'll be able to see it's a cistern filled with water in there. And so one can actually water it through a funnel through the top, and it will come down the bottom. For example, we just take it like this, and then over here, the extra water pours out, so you know when it's full. Right? And those are the buckets in general. We have a couple more things here.
That's how that works.
Yeah. We have these this crate system. These crates are really nice. You can stack them. They're movable. And on top of that, they're cheap. You know. Yeah. We just take we initially got some soil, so we took the bags, folded them in. Works out. And more eggplants here. Anyways, while you're over there, I'll show you the other composting system. It's here. This is where most of the scraps take. As much as we can.
What is this?
This is water for watering the compost, but we started to grow algae, which is not a bad thing. Anyways, this is where we put as many of the scraps from the kitchen as we can in this bucket. This is the second attempt, really. And we have leaves from the front courtyard garden for take a pole, mix it up. It's coming along pretty well. You see, this is really just leaves from the front, and you see how it's very brown here. It's decomposing very well. Ori will tell you that it's got a very earthy smell.
It does. It has a very...
Smells like the forest. Good compost. And so this is, it's very good. It's good stuff. This is the first step, and then here, for example, we have the nearly finished product, where this is the last batch. The leaves are on top, just to make sure there's food for the worms in it. So we add some more worms in here to break it down all the way, and we just, the compost just needs to be stirred. It needs air, and it needs, a little bit of moisture here and there. So we do that, and slowly we're making our own soil. Then I'll show you right here. We have our works in progress, but if you see back here, the back corner, there are blackberry bushes.
Blackberry bushes?
Yeah.
So they're actually going to grow blackberries?
Yeah. These are just some random projects.
These are the blackberry bushes here that are growing the blackberries?
Yeah.
The berries, and
different projects. This is kind of a mess over here.
This looks like cauliflower or cabbages.
Yeah, purple cabbages. And here we have kale, aloe, garlic. And here's some eggplants. Slowly learning how to grow these things. It's another cool system. Slides back here like a garage door.
How avocados? How would they?
Avocados? We'll show you the avocados.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have some peppers, some onion, scallions there.
Peppers, onion, scallion.
Here's the micro greenhouse. It's warm. You can, or he'll tell you it feels the
micro greenhouse.
Feel in there.
It does. I am sensing warmth, and
it's a little bit warm.
a damp warmness.
So
which is what a greenhouse needs, a certain temperature, right?
Yeah. These are new, so you won't see any sprouts, I don't think, yet. But basically, we put seeds in these cups of dirt. Yeah, nothing's came up yet. We just did most of these yesterday. These are some leftovers from last time.
That is wonderful.
They sprout up in here, and then we take care of them until they get strong enough and big enough to place. It's kind of like the yeshiva, plant the seeds and then take care of us. Then this is a kind of intermediate step for anything more for perennials or things that need more time in smaller containers. But this is to keep it from harsh sun. You can come in, it's okay. So these are from the strawberry plants I showed you. These are offshoots from the strawberries, and these are going to make their own strawberry bushes. This one of the guys who's learning here. Use some water. He sprouted these avocado trees from seeds. So these are avocado trees. This is the prize gem right here. You know what this is?
That looks like some sort of a plant. What is that?
This is an etrog.
Oh, really?
Etrog tree, and it's so basically the seed for this is from a Kfar Chabad Calabria etrog. So basically, in Chabad we have a minhag custom of using the best etrog is one from Italy, because our tradition has it that this is what Moses sent a messenger to bring for him to use for etrog, and so these. This etrog was actually grown in Kfar Chabad, the Chabad village here in Israel. But the seed that it was grown from was a seed from etrog that was given to the owner of the orchard by the Rebbe with a bracha. So the guy, he had his whole orchard, and he basically uprooted the whole thing and planted only from seeds from this etrog from the Rebbe. And so from one of these etrogs from that orchard, we have this, so it's a very special thing. Soon, hopefully, we'll be able to have etrogs from it first.
Hello, and we have a guest.
Hi.
Join us.
Hey.
Are you angry?
Huh?
Me?
No.
You weren't angry?
I was just angry. Slow-mo.
Kfar Chabad.
Kfar Chabad, Calabria, etrog.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Lettuce down here, some scallions, arugula, chives here, aloe, succulents, tomato plants, experiments over here.
Chives, arugula,
Yeah.
avocado trees.
So that's basically that's the tour. It's the main tour. We harvest. I harvest to sell to a one of the faculty members here in the yeshiva, as much as I can. Usually on Thursdays I pick stuff. Today's Thursday, so I'm going to start picking as well to give them stuff for Shabbat. So, yeah, it's good. It works out well. So that's pretty much it today.
The wonders of Mayanot.
Yep.
Wonder kinds and wonder kings.
Now we'll look at the going for a while now. It's going over a year.
So what are we harvesting here?
Scallions. You're harvesting onion tops, scallions.
And how long would it take for once from harvesting to regrowth, and then from regrowth to harvesting again?
Scallions?
Yeah.
Maybe like this. These I haven't harvested in a while. That's why there's so much here. But might take like a week. I can harvest it every week. Every 2 weeks for sure. I'm gonna have a lot.
So every Shabbat table, every week for Shabbat, these scallions can be served at a Shabbat table.
Oops, maybe I cut that one a little close. Not this many. This is a unique amount. I didn't harvest this for like 3 weeks, but yeah, I'd say between these and the other ones that I'm growing, I'd say every week we can have scallions. No problem. And so harvest some. This is plenty. This is more than some arugula. This is,
I can even smell the scallion.
yeah. Arugula, you just cut it all the way back, and then gonna have to kind of pick at it a little bit. Get these. There's, as you can see, you see down here the new sprouts. I seeded some new ones, so most of what you see here is growth from the older plants, which I'm hoping will get taken over by these new ones, because the older ones they're a little bit more stemmy, so I have to pick them more, get them more when I harvest. Works out pretty well.